let's see.
It's all good.
Yeah, so the way that I kind of think about posts is just because is like I want the post to be valuable to the person looking at it, and also be something that feels good to me, because I feel like when there's so much crap now, and not even just crap, there's a lot of good stuff too, but it's just like so much, and I don't want to be, it becomes overwhelming when I'm like, oh well, what do I need to make and how am I going to make it, and is it going to get, so I don't try to worry about any of that. I just try to worry about, does it feel good coming out of me? like it sounds like.
Can I comment on that? I want to say, like, when I watch your stuff, it's very good content, but you can tell, like, I feel like you have a really good mixture. It's like you have, like, 1 minute I'm watching you in a freaking dinosaur costume, and then the next minute I'm seeing, like, you just have like this kind of like heart to heart with me or the person watching, like in your car, like being like, listen, I feel like your sarcasm, yet your professionalism, like that, you have a really good balance of that. And I just really respect that. Like, and it's something that is just really good. And like in the post, what was the one I was reading about, like the hamburger or something? And I'm like, you get to the end and I don't even remember what it was, but I'm like, I don't know. I was laughing at it.
Well,
like,
I appreciate that. And,
because I think that's what makes you unique. And it's like, yeah, like you're not just, yeah.
And, I've we all kind of struggle with that of like, well, I'm trying, but when you're trying to create this thing to put out, it doesn't seem to work. Or even like when I'm trying to put it out in expectation of receiving something, whether it's like, I want to see more people follow, I want to see more people click, I want to see more people say, hey, I want coaching. Anytime like I'm trying to do that, it's like an uphill battle. And I've hired a lot of people to teach me and coach me on like everything from business to, personal stuff, like everything. And so what I've kind of discovered is that when I make it, to make it feel good for me, and I don't really care what comes from it, that's like when it's like it hits really different for people. Plus it's like but then you don't even care, but then that's when all of it, it really resonates with people.
You know what is coming to my mind too? Like, as I thought, and then I was thinking I like effed up our time today. So I was like watching your videos going, and I noticed like you didn't have a hashtag, you didn't put a link, you didn't put anything on the one of you like just talking in your car, or you did. And I don't know if it was just so I didn't see it, but I was just like,
no, it wasn't.
I noticed that. And I thought, okay, and how often do you, put like coaching inquiries or don't you ever do that? And it's just in your bio.
Yeah. So I don't, I'll put hashtags in the posts just because I've seen that works, but I was just tired of like, I approach it the same way I approach training and nutrition. You go on the internet and 50 people will tell you 50 things that you must do to get more engagement. And, one of my greatest teachers, we had this conversation earlier this week, and we've had this conversation over the past year, and I'm starting to get it more and more. It's not what you're writing that matters. It's who you're being when you're writing it. And so it could be literally like anything and no hashtags. But if you're being like, if who you're being feels good to you, uh, and whatever you write, like it will
kind of just like breathe with the whole thing and don't like take the pressure off.
Yeah. Cause honestly, like it doesn't fucking matter what hashtags or strategies, blah, blah, blah. The
Yeah.
only thing that matters is that you're feeling good while you're doing it and that, you know, it's enjoyable to make it. So like what I've realized is like, oh dude, stop trying to create things based on like what you think will get more coaching inquiries and stuff. Make things that feel good while you're making them. And so
that
for
probably
me,
attracts the kind of client you want to bring in anyway, doesn't it?
yeah. But then it becomes irrelevant. I don't really care if I get a client because I'm making it for me more than anything. But then since there's no like weird energy or whatever, it's not contrived. Like I do get those people. And like my gym is filled with people who like to have fun. They want to get strong. They're really nice people. And you know, like they want to feel good. Like that's the kind of people that come here. And so that's something. And so for me, I've realized, oh, what feels good to me? Like, I'm like, oh, I like to laugh and like, I also like to be really, you know, focused on getting strong. And so, you know, I don't like complexity. I believe that simplicity is the ultimate key and superpower, and like being kind is very important. So those are the things that I just talk about, and like, and I sometimes I'll make something I think it's hilarious, and so I'm like, okay, cool, like that was a good post, and whether somebody comments or not, I don't really care. But what I've noticed is as I've been doing that, more
I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that because I feel like sometimes as much as like I can get not upset, but it's like, why isn't this like, you know how people like, and I hate that.
Something really good.
Yes, and I hate it so much. Like I hate, like I will, it makes, so it's like what you're saying, like just do it for me and post what yeah, that's, I need to get back to that. Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly, I would say the biggest thing, because there's so many ways we kind of like try to force things and like, you know, this is the way it's supposed to be because the experts have said this and this and this. But in reality, like, and Jordan says this all the time. He's like, I don't know anything. Yeah. And neither does anybody who says they do. They're just like, you know, like I'm just doing what I can and what feels right to me, and I figure things out. And so, you know, that's something that I try to bring in as well, is like, oh, I don't need to know anything. I don't need to like, oh, some YouTube expert just posted the 10 things you must do to grow your Instagram in 2020. To me, I'm like, fuck, I got to do these 10 things. No, all I got to do is feel good when I'm recording a video and record a video every day. And, you know,
Do you try to do them every day?
This year I have been trying to for YouTube. And that's the other thing. Like I've been very
YouTube.
Yeah. I've been very hard on myself in the past of when not posting, but now I'm like, it doesn't matter, because what am I trying to do? Why do I want clients? Why do I want to make posts? Because I think when I get that, I'll feel good. But the thing is, like, it's reverse. It's like, if I don't feel good while I'm trying to do all these things, when I get them, I'm still not going to feel good. So then it's like, I need to feel good now. And then those things become irrelevant, but also more of it comes, and in ways that you don't even imagine. So like the girl Aubrey, she invited me to do the show with her on Sacramento.
Yeah.
That wasn't something that I like created or was looking for. That she's just like been following me, and she's like, hey Ranbir, like, would you be willing to come on for this and this? And I was like, of course I would. And, you know, not having any expectation, like, oh, when I go there, all of a sudden I'm going to get 100 email inquiries.
Right.
When I went there, my intention was, man, I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna enjoy it, and that's what happened. And so then I didn't really care whether I got a client from it. I just cared that it came, like, it felt good to me as it was coming out, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I needed to hear that in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah, it's just like all these internet business people, like,
they make it seem like you need them or that you need to do these things, and
you don't need shit. And
yeah.
I've just been tired of all of that. And because I don't know how long have you been in the internet marketing world and business and fitness world?
I'm 36 years old, so I on my own. I was the wellness coordinator at my hospital, and then I kind of branched out from there, like probably close to not quite 2 years. So no, like, I like to say, like, I can talk, nutrition and fitness and, like, stress, like all of that all day, and it's like, holy hell, now I got to become like this marketer, and I got to be like, it was just like very overwhelming for me. And then I can get to the point too where I'm like, the whole thing of just let it flow. Like, how I talk is how I need to type, right? Instead of like being like, just so.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, it's the same as when we're trying to lose weight or somebody's trying to lose weight and they're just so desperate for the weight loss and they're miserable the entire time. One, they're probably not going to get there. But number two, when they do get there, they're not going to feel any different. They're going to be like, oh, now I'm a lean person who's miserable, but they're not going to realize that. They don't have that awareness. So it's like, the secret, and it's like the more I've gotten, the longer I've been doing this and the more I've learned and I've done the work on myself, it literally has nothing to do with any of the tactics, whether it's fat loss or business or marketing. It's, am I being present? That's pretty much everything. It's like, can I forgive myself for all the things that I'm doing or not doing and just be present? And so, like, I'm talking to you right now. Can I be present enough to help you in some type of way? That's it. Like, I don't have a plan here to, like, oh, Emily, here's my 5 things that I do that you need to do and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just going to share with you by being present and asking questions, and, we'll create something,
It's kind of funny that's, because I was thinking too, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm going to ask him. But I was like, I kind of just felt drawn to, like, ask you, like, because I loved your content, not just your vibe maybe. And that's what kind of drew me in. And it's like, what you're saying is ironically, like, exactly what I needed. Right. And that's just kind of cool. Like, I believe, like, that lady reaching out to you for the news thing, like the universe, right? Put good out into the world, be a good person, and it'll, yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, when you realize, I think I posted something about it the other day, is like, where are we in a rush to go? Like, the present moment is the only thing that matters. And so why can't I enjoy, like, dude, oh, I've never met Emily. She messaged me. She wants to know something that apparently I'm doing that she enjoys. So can I just sit here and be like, damn, this is awesome, and I can just be present? Like, where am I in a rush to? Like, oh, I got paperwork and, like, shit. Do I really? It'll get done. And so our message has just been like, have compassion to yourself and others, forgive yourself, and then just be present, and then just enjoy whatever it is. And so when you apply that to training, good things happen. When you apply that to business and marketing, good things happen. And then everything becomes enjoyable, and you kind of do it for the sake of doing it without needing the outcome. But then the outcome happens in, like, ways that are far more grand and, like, fun and than you could contrive yourself.
And then when you're allowed to be more like yourself, yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I was just talking with my sister who, she's got an Instagram page, but she's like an artist, right? Like calligraphy and stuff like that. And it's beautiful. And I was talking to her last night and said, have you posted in a while? And she was like, no. And just kind of the whole burnout thing. And I really just want to avoid that. Right. Yeah. And it's so funny too, because I was listening to somebody talking. It's like, you need to post at this time during the day. You need to have this, you need to have this many relevant hashtags, and then not so, and then and I'm like okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
What you're saying is just what I need. Like, I just kind of like my big note, like if I show you, it's just probably just say relax.
Yeah. And enjoy the moment. And it sounds, I say all these things now and I'm like I'm like, but are you giving people anything? I'm like, what? Because you have the voice of like, well, that's not telling anybody anything. And how easy is that, right? Because even for me, these are messages that somehow, like, I don't want to even take credit, like we put these messages into our coaching and our business from day one, but not realizing the impact and the depth of these things until almost 10 years later. And I'm like, but that's so, like, am I really being helpful? Because it took me however many years to figure out what it really meant. And I was like, no, you're trying too hard. Like,
yeah,
that's the most important thing. And it's not up to you to try to force people to get it, and just enjoy. So it's like, I was talking with somebody else yesterday, but one of my other clients, she writes poetry, and so same thing happens. She's like, I'm not writing, and she would tell me all these reasons why, and it comes down to like, oh, it's supposed to be like this, it's not perfect, I have to do XYZ. I'm like, no, like, even if you did all of the quote unquote perfect things and you did all the strategies, but the person you were being while you were doing them didn't feel good, it's not going to work. But if you just put, if you're being somebody who you want to be and it feels good to you, you could do anything and it'll work.
Yeah. And that's so funny too, is because it's like, then you spend so much time writing that damn caption that, or whatever, and then nobody likes it, or you don't get the engagement, and then you're frustrated. And then it's like, but you're absolutely right. When you kind of just don't give two shits about what, you're like, whatever, and then I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't need the outcome for you to feel good.
Yeah.
Your feeling good is independent of the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would, I will share this because I feel like I do have a good eye for like putting together things that look pretty, because that feels good to me. Like, pretty things are make me feel good, and they're pretty.
Yeah.
And so when I make my posts, I never really liked that Instagram, and I shared a lot of them, and that's how my Instagram grew back in the day. The infographic.
Yes.
Which Jordan was the very first person who started doing those.
Yeah. Do you use Canva? Is that what you used? I
use Canva. So I'm going to show you. I'm just going to walk you through like my thought process, and then if it's helpful to you, then awesome.
It's already been helpful. Thank you. I appreciate you very much.
You are welcome. I appreciate you. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let's see. Okay.
Do you have any design background? I mean,
no.
It makes me love you and hate you at the same time. Like, good for you, but
But here's the thing, though. Yeah. Good. I think everybody. I always had. These things that are kind of cliches, and then we kind of ignore them because we think they're cliches. But I think the cliches are cliches because there's so much depth and truth in them. Yeah. And then most people don't really appreciate them for what they are. But I think there is creativity and a a love for beauty in everybody. And so what I kind of have done, because I didn't do any design, I just know what looks good to me and what looks beautiful. And so this is what I'll do. And this took me some time to figure out, that you don't need to like have this pressure of creating everything yourself.
Right.
I collect all the things that are beautiful to me, and then I just use them. And so like this guy is the lead singer for he's the lead singer for Franz Ferdinand, and I just always liked their music.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'll so one guy that really resonates with me. So when I'm like, oh, I want to make a post today. I'll go, okay, I'll go find something that is appealing. There's no like rhyme or reason. I really like how Chris Do talks. I like how he puts things together. They're pretty. The messages are important.
Visually nice to me too.
Yeah. And more importantly, like when he talks and the message he talks about, 100% is our message in relation to what we're doing. He's a graphic designer, and that's what he teaches. But the core message is the same. So
Right.
that makes me feel really good. And then, because I might say, oh, this guy's posts are great, but if his message is like, it doesn't feel good to me, then I don't want any part of that, you know?
Absolutely.
So I'll go in here and I'll be like, oh, okay, actually this one looks cool. Let's take a look at this. And I'll just kind of go through the thing. Okay. Okay. So I actually use an example that I use so you can actually see it. So I really like this. I was like, this is very clean. It looks good. I'm going to use this. So using this as my template.
This looks like your hamburger one.
Exactly. So I was like, and then I find, what message do I want to share? And so in that case, it was.
I just got like the chills. This is so helpful.
I'm glad, because this is not what people.
Because I sit there and I stare and I try and like think and go like, I'm not the most boring person, but why am I not creative right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but see, that's the thing. You don't need to be, and especially with the tools that we have today, like Canva is unbelievable. So I love Chris. I love how he puts things together. I like the simplicity of the fonts. So here's a little thing, like, so this could, I guess, is a little technical, but not really. Font pairing is very important because it contributes to like the visual beauty of it. You know, some people just use all kinds of crazy fonts and like, I'm like, that's because you're trying to create it yourself and trying to figure it out, or you have no awareness of it. I'm like, what I found from all of the stuff that looks good to me is use fonts that are very simple. Then if I'm like trying to figure out how to put them together, font pairing, it's very simple. I use the same font and I'll use a bigger size. I'll go the thin version of it. I'll bold it, but it's the same font. And all of a sudden your posts look super professional. They look clean.
That's like gold to me right there, because, you know, and then I think my mind went, you know, it's what Canva provides you, right? You're going like, oh, so like the whole freaking KISS principle.
Yep, 100%. And so it doesn't need to be like very complicated. And I would follow Chris Do because he does a great job of articulating these things. And see, like, this is the same font right here, except this is yellow and this is white. And then this is the same font. It's just not the bold one, and it's slightly smaller. And that's when you look at it and you're like, oh, they must have either they have like, they hired someone to do it, or they're like a graphic designer. Not the case. I just look at beautiful things and I try to simplify it. And so I took this idea of the blueprint and I'm like, what blueprint do I want to give? And so for me, I was like, lose fat with cheeseburgers, because that resonates with me.
Yeah.
I eat In-N-Out almost every day. And so it's,
I can appreciate that. Yeah. And it might, yeah, it's a message that should be shared. Yep.
and so you see, like, I didn't need to come up with it. It was just something that's real, that I can get really excited talking to you about it. And I know it's valuable, because people are like, oh, I can't eat that because I'm on a diet, or people are like, I'm going to eat the burger, so fuck it. Like, I'm not going to.
Yeah. Bring on everything else. And yeah.
So with this, I took that idea, and then the font that I use in my Canva is Nunito, and then there's a couple of versions of it. So that's pretty much as complicated as that is. Light.
Every post you stick to that, and different bolds and sizes, and
Yeah.
oh, that is so nice to hear.
Yeah, and if I want to experiment with something, I have, but I like this. I like it simple, and it feels me. It feels me. Then all I did with this was, like, I took this, let's see. I just put a white square or rectangle and put the font on top of it, and it looked good. And I was like, dope, that's dope. And then I just went on In-N-Out's thing, and I added the picture of the hamburger, and that was that. And then I used that kind of flow that he had here for my slides.
How do you get that hamburger from In-N-Out to be like trace, like not to have like
the background? Yeah. So I'm gonna show you that. And now Canva made it so easy. It used to take, it was still easy before. It just took a couple steps. Now it's all, you can do it all in Canva. So, with this, then I just figure out, like, what kind of message do I want to tell?
Yeah.
And then, so the obvious stuff. And then in this one, I'm giving them the blueprint. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm giving them the blueprint, how do I say it? I say this literally. Then they give me exactly what I want. And then I was like, okay, for the remaining pages, I'm just going to give the breakdown of the ingredients. And that's all it was. And then I added in on the little last page, you can see this is the bold, this is the black, this is the light, but it's bigger. And here's another thing, is like, you can change how things, like the impact, by making them uppercase or lowercase. So similar thing. And then I just included my old original post.
I'm gonna say that's pretty.
Yeah, so this is something that I did a long time ago. And so I was like, all right, I'll just throw it in as the 9th post. And I didn't really feel like redoing it. And then, so like you said, like
how do you get you sitting there so nicely without like a,
yeah, so
make it white and you put it in the background?
So I'm gonna show you that right now. You're gonna be like, this is
I need this.
I'm pulling back the curtain, and it's like, you're seeing the what's it called? The Wizard of Oz is just a regular guy.
Okay, this is if it was overly complicated, I'd be like, shit.
Yeah. No. You asked about, like, calls to action. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll throw it in there. I know I provided tons of value, at the very least, entertainment. And it was like, I was proud of this. Like, this felt good to me. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, I'm like, what's my message? Like, don't be stressed out, anxious, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you want to do this and you want to work with me, shoot me a message. Very simple. So now, how to get this stuff looking like that. So let's just, I'm going to make it a little bit dramatic. So so it looks a little bit more complicated than what it is, because it's so simple. It's literally one step, but just so you could see it. So we'll put a black background, and then let's say I got this website, or this picture from or my wife took this picture.
Yeah.
I upload it. I drop it in here. Super complicated coming up. Click effects. Click background
Hang
remover.
on, I gotta get ready.
Click the background remover.
Okay, so it was just an effect.
Yep.
Get out of town. That's like literally there.
Yep. And there you go.
That just got really like serious. The
There
dark. Get. You're gonna see my post. My feeds are gonna just be freaking selfies.
Just you on plain backgrounds. But that's it. And this is a recent thing that they added before. Now you don't need to.
That's under background effects, and then just.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
You are making me so happy today.
You are welcome. Yeah. So like I use this guy, Pat Flynn, who I've learned a lot from as well. You just click effects and then you remove and then the background disappears. So Canva made it really, really easy.
And then does it save to your photos?
No, the original is here. It's saved in.
Oh, it just goes to the post.
File, yeah. And then
that's like total like.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And so I'll just show you a couple other things.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people do that, and I'm like, do they? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need like technical crazy skills anymore.
You make my heart happy. This has been such, like, it was the message I needed. Can't even tell you.
See, like I'm gonna use this because I really, really like this. It's so simple, but
how would you find like a background like that, or do you just look through theirs?
So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. I would probably, I don't know. I think I would probably just start with a pink background.
Yeah.
And then find this picture or something like that. Or it might not even be this. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be somebody's mouth and like busting through. It could be the Kool-Aid guy busting through a wall, but then that's the background. Like it's whatever I feel like that looks good to me and that kind of goes with the message. Like this, I'm using this exact template, and the message is exactly the same, except it's not in regard to making content, because that's what this is about. It's the look. It's about eating better.
Yeah. And it's the flow, it's the vibe, it's the simplicity.
And check this out. Like this one is just text with one color or one word.
Right.
People think you got to be super complicated. And then here's this. So this is the other thing that's great about Chris. He didn't make this post. This is from a tweet that these guys did, and he credited it. And then he just turned it into this awesome post, which is what I did recently with Pat Flynn's post. This, I don't know if you saw this, but this is a complete joke. And I thought this was hilarious. And this is from Pat's post. Like, I die every time
you don't post their post, you recreate what their caption was and give them credit for the original.
Yeah. And so, so here it is. I've posted this many times exactly like this, reposted it, and I die every time because I just think it's so funny. Like, instead of eating the blizzard, eat the cucumber, because it's just funny to me that people don't get that that's a joke, and they get really.
I think this is the one that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And so then I took that, and I took the template that I just showed you, and I just broke it up into slides.
I really like this way of sharing other people's content instead of just posting their own.
Original, yeah.
Yeah.
And so with this, you know, I was like, you know, I wanted to take his captions on those were really short. So I was like, oh, how am I going to put them on here? So I just put these little thought bubbles or
Right.
whatever. And then I credited him several times. Like, this guy has greatly influenced my career as a strength coach. And then at the end, see this one, like it's not complicated at all. There's up top, it's really simple, blank space, and then caps locks, and that's like, you know, that's another joke right there. But it's, you see the
Yeah.
thing is very simple. And then at the end, I told people to go follow him again, and then I used that background remover to put me and Pat together.
Yeah. I was dying over this because I'm going like, this is just genius.
And it's so simple. So, and I don't really care. Like, used to be, these things bothered me, like
Yeah.
uh
Yep.
how much engagement I got or how many people liked it, but I don't care. I really love that post. I'm like, man, you did a good job on that. That feels good. So, and then sometimes you'll see things that you think maybe won't do very well, but you know, I'm like, that's not the point. Just do it. Like
Yep.
this one got a ton of engagement, and I didn't feel really that great while I was making it. As far as like, not that I didn't feel great. I liked how it came out. It felt good, but I was like, I wasn't expecting like the amount of people to respond
I know
to it.
exactly what you mean.
And then again, the last thing I just put is like, message me if you want some help. That's it. So that's
Wow. This was awesome. Like, really. Wow.
I'm glad that was helpful.
Like, beyond helpful. I think just like the underlying message of like chill out, and then do it with what feels good, and then just all of that technical stuff with Canva, and just, yeah.
And and so, you know, not having any judgment is important, because, you know, I told you, like, all the people who are saying stuff, you got to do this and this and this. That also doesn't mean like, if something, I'm like, oh, that strategy sounds good, let me try it. That's also okay. It's not black and white. It's like, it doesn't matter. Either way, your decision you make, it doesn't matter. So Chris has been talking a lot about these 10 carousel posts, right? Instead of just one thing. He's like, they're giving you 10. I didn't make those because they take more effort and time, and you got to think about it a little bit. But I'm like, oh, let's try that. Just because, one, it's different, it looks beautiful, and it's like something that other people aren't doing. So I'm going to do it. So that's why I did that.
And then you don't have to worry about, like, because that's another thing I often think about is like, how do you, you know, because a lot of people just look at the picture, right? Like, put the, you know, everything you want to say in one. And I like the big and the simple and the, I can't, like, my heart is just so I'm so glad that I reached out to you. I was, yeah, I honestly don't do that, and I don't know what it was, but thank you. Like, I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd be like, oh, let's do this again.
I'm down.
We'll have to, I don't know, figure out a way to work together, or share it. I don't know. I'm just thinking I want to be able to help you in some way, or I don't know. I'm very grateful.
Same.
That's all.
Well, it'll be, whatever happens is always good. So I'm glad that has been helpful, because I feel it. It's the same thing that I think about and I go through. And then I've just been, I'm just always on the pursuit of more simplicity and more satisfaction. And the answer seems to be not in all the complicated stuff. So, yeah.
I agree. And I needed to hear that. I needed to hear
Um,
that.
yeah. Well, I will. If you want, I'll put this on. I'll upload this and I'll send you the link. And then if you need to look at it, you can look at it. So.
Well, absolutely. I will 100%. And yeah, send me your business partner's handle too. I'd like to follow him, and I'll probably be reacting to some of your stories and things like that too, like liking your stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
All right. Well, and if you're ever in the Bay Area, always more than welcome to come
I'm
through.
thinking I should. If you looked out my window, we're pretty much covered in lots of snow. When I back out of my driveway, let's just say I say a little Hail Mary that no cars are coming because I got little snow banks up. Yeah.
Well, it's nice and warm here. It's like, I think it's 70 today. So
Yes. You know that thing we were just talking about, that family thing? Your family figured it out. My family, they picked the wrong spot.
my dad came here in 79 and he stayed here the entire time.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of our joke, is like, why did you have to, like, yeah. And I come from quite a big family and they're all here. And so I'm like, God dang it.
Well, maybe you could be the first to move.
I know. I trust me. Now that I work virtually, I'm like, there's no reason.
Yeah. All righty.
Well, stay in touch. Thank you so much again.
You are welcome. I will talk to you soon.
Okay. See you.